Hello, I hope you're all well. And you're probably thinking, this is a really random topic for this woman to speak about. And it is, but it's something I felt inspired to share. And as you can probably read above, in no way I'm trying to disrespect anyone. I just wanted to put my opinion forward and start a conversation and hopefully help someone else on their journey, because really this group is all about sharing your knowledge, sharing your expertise, and helping to further educate yourself. So if you can just understand that I'm coming from that angle, I'm coming from a place of love. I'm not here to attack anyone, because I know there are so many beautiful therapists out there who provide this service, and it can be very life-changing for some of the people that they help, but I don't think in all cases. So hear me out. I'm here to tell my story and kind of share why I don't think it's a long-term sustainable treatment to be providing for my own reasons. So basically, I'm going to kind of go back to when I was a teenager, because you were all there. I'm in my 20s. I'm 27. And so I grew up in that time where we were plucking all our brows and just getting rid of everything. You've all been there. It's called the 90s brow. And yeah, I was so embarrassed of my brows. I had a monobrow, and I just remember hating it so much. So when I was old enough, or at least when I had access to tweezers, I was tweezing my hair out like crazy. And I did this for quite some time, and I definitely have, some of my hairs just haven't grown back, but we're going to get to that at the end. So I had this notoriously thin brow throughout my whole teenage years, and it was terribly shaped, and I would always go to different therapists, just like go to the local waxing joint, and they'd rip all my brows off, and I'm like, they're so thin. And it's just kind of like repeated assault throughout my teenage years until I got to adulthood, and I was like, I want my brows to look nicer. I was really ashamed of them, didn't really like them, didn't know what to do. So I decided I wanted to have a fuller brow, and that it kind of started to become a trend, didn't it? Everyone started really loving their brows and wanting to grow their brows out, and I just felt like, I have such thin brows and they're not going to grow back, and all of these ideas that I had. And there is some parts of my brow that doesn't grow, because there's two scars in this brow because of when I was a child. So yeah, there's some little spots in there, so there is like quite a big line in there. So I thought, if I just get that tattooed over, I wouldn't have to do my brows every day, because I was doing my brows every single day with makeup. And I was like, you know what, wouldn't that be amazing if I just didn't have to do my makeup in the morning? But the thing is I didn't do for myself, and it makes sense, because I was only just starting in the industry and I didn't really understand. We don't get really thorough training in TAFE or any kind of beauty therapy school on really how to restore a natural brow. But I just really didn't think of growing them out. I really didn't think that was an option, and I didn't think that they would grow back as much as they have. So I was like, yep, I'm getting microblading. It was such a big trend, and it still is. I know it's around, and I was like, yep, I'm getting my brows microbladed. And I honestly did so much research. There was 2 ladies in Adelaide to choose from, and I'm definitely not here to put any kind of bad words on anyone at all, because I think the person I went to see was absolutely beautiful. I just think it didn't work out for me personally. But yeah, so just please don't think that I'm putting crap on anyone at all. But I went to one person who I just thought was brilliant. She was so popular. She had a lot of natural looking brows, and what ended up happening with me was that she drew the brows on, and I was like, yeah, I'm really happy with these. I want this brow. And it was the brow that I was designing every single day. I was like, yep, can you please make that? And we had the treatment, and it was all done. And because I have quite dark brows, you can see the color stain was just not right. Now I'm telling you, it was like a reddish, and I know that the skin of course creates a bit of a red pigment because you've got scarring and you've really impaired the skin and all of that. I know the color changes, but it didn't stick with me. So I had patches that fell out, and I know this is all to do with aftercare and all of that, but I did follow this lady's advice to the T. And yeah, I just had patches, and we had to do it again and again, and it ended up being a really, really uneven brow and not the right color. And I actually was more ashamed of my brows in the end. I was like completely distraught, and it was uneven because some color would stay on one end and some on the other. I had a friend who was doing microblading, just kind of learning it, and I got her to touch up bits and pieces, which I felt more comfortable having brows like that. But I felt like my brows were completely destroyed, and I know this is not the story for everyone, but this was my story. And yeah, it kind of just sucked. I was like, ugh, what the hell? And I was like, all right, well, it'll fade, right? It'll fade. And you know, I've used glycolic acids, all kinds of different pills throughout my brows to fade them, and they have definitely faded. But what I've it's been about 2 years now, and I wanted to talk to you about my thoughts about microblading and feathering and whatnot, and how I think if I knew that knowledge then, why I wouldn't do it now. And this is why I think it's a service that's not going to last too long in the industry, or at least it's not sustainable. And keep listening, because I'm going to get to these points. So yeah, I pretty much was forced to have to put makeup in my brow to even just cover up the unevenness of my microblading. So it was kind of like the opposite effect. I was even more ashamed of my brows. And if I knew then what I know now, that a lot of brow hairs can grow back. And I feel that the growth of my hair was really impeded when I had the microblading as well. It makes sense physiologically because there's so much trauma going on in the area, but I felt like my brows in those areas didn't grow back until just recently. I've noticed new hair growth. So my brows are fuller than ever. As you can see, I do fill them in bits because I've just redesigned my brow and I'm creating a new shape. But there's probably 3 reasons why I wouldn't do microblading personally. For one, it's the color change in the skin. Like, it's not going to stay the same color the whole time. So it might be a fix for 6 months, but it's not a long-term fix, and you're gonna have to continuously keep going back for treatments, and you're not guaranteed to have the color that you want. And maybe someone can argue that, and that's totally fine. Pop it in the comments below. But it's not sustainable in my opinion. And then if I knew that I could grow my brows back in these different ways, I totally would have. And the other thing is that the shape that I went for, now that I'm kind of like looking back, and now I've changed my brow, I'm realizing, well, the brow that I chose to get microbladed on was a trend. It was not the shape that suited my face. It was just the type of brows that everybody was doing at the time. So it is a very permanent decision. Although it does fade, I have parts that really just won't fade, and I have to use makeup on it to kind of even it out. So it is a huge decision to make, and it costs a lot of money for clients to invest. But I want to bring it back to the therapist's perspective, and I want you to kind of see where I'm coming from here. So, you know, as skilled and as amazing as you are as an eyebrow sculptor, or perhaps a microblader, there'll be a story like mine. I'm sure there is, and you don't have to put your hand up and say that there's been bad stories, or maybe you've had a lot of success. But I really do think there would be people that you're going to get someone that's unhappy, and you're going to get someone that complains and doesn't feel drawn to the service because of all the risks that come along with it. You know, we're talking about skin penetration. We're talking about literally digging a scalpel into the skin and not knowing how deep you're actually penetrating. Well, that's not a scalpel. That's a jade roller. Never mind. But, you know, the epidermis is only 0.3 millimeters, and, you know, you need to dig into the dermis, but the dermis thickness is different for everyone. And yeah, I think there's a lot of complications that can come with that. And I know people get trained in needle safety and all of that, and creating an aseptic environment, but the training courses are very, very short from what I've looked into, and I don't think it gives you enough knowledge and education really to be providing such a ablative treatment. So yeah, one, it's a very invasive, high risk treatment where infection and all kinds of issues can happen. So that's also not good in terms of insurance. But also you've got the clients that could become unhappy because they have had an adverse reaction, or their color isn't right, or they're not happy with the shape later down the road, whatever. Because it's a big investment, so people are a bit more emotionally invested. So therefore a lot more heightened emotions. And yeah, it's a lot of money and a lot of things can go wrong and it's stuck on their face. And three, my other reason why I don't think it's sustainable in the long term is, yes, it's a very high ticket service with a really low cost. However, how often are you seeing your clients? You know, you get someone in for a treatment and it's a treatment that should last between 6 months to 8 months to 12 months, whatever you're recommending for your client to come back. You're really only seeing that client once in a year. Let's just create a roundabout number. So maybe once every year. Now that might be $495 or maybe $385, I don't know, but it's a very high ticket cost, high cost for the client. You get a lot of profit, but the thing is, you're going through clients. You're like always having to get new clients. And depending on where you are in the world, the amount of other microbladers out there, how good you are at your service, your marketing, everything, you're going to continuously have to bring new clients. And because it is such a skillful modality, you need to really be good at it to be able to get a client base. And I feel that it's not good for long-term business, because eventually you're going to exhaust your clientele in your area. Now, I live in Adelaide, it's a big city, and I'm sure there's a lot of people here, but just like brows, you know, those really high arch brows are a trend, I really believe microblading is going to be a bit of a trend too. So we probably have seen recently times a bit of a dip in microblading as like the demand for it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that's just my observations based on what I see on social media and what people are talking about in the beauty industry, and also like beauty bloggers and stuff like that. It just doesn't seem to be as big. So I think it's a bit more of a trending kind of service, and it's not sustainable for a business. Now, if you're going to build your whole business just around microblading, you're putting a permanent damage onto people like all around your area. You're going to be remembered for scarring people all around your area, whether it's good scarring or bad scarring. You know, it's permanent. And I just think, you know, you need that cash flow in your business. Now that I'm a business owner, I understand this. You need people coming back constantly, and I'm sure people have found ways around this by adding different kinds of services, etc. But I really think, because it is more of a trend, it came from a trend of loving brows and all of that, and then the risks associated, health physiologically, and the risks in terms of clients not loving it and kind of complaining. I really think it's a service that I would avoid if I was really wanting to focus and get into lash and brow services. So that is my opinion, and I'm more inclined now to be thinking about longevity for my clients. So really wanting to restore their natural brow and helping them to grow back what we can, tint what we can, and realizing that a quick fix there's never a quick fix. You know, you're gonna have to come back for a treatment. It's, you know, you still have to put makeup on. I ask people all the time when I see them with microblading, I'm like, do you wear makeup on your brows? And I know this because they come in for skin treatments and then I have to take the makeup off their brows. So I know for a fact people still have to put their makeup on. So yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. I'm all about restoring the natural brow now, and I'm really excited to start offering this in my clinic. I'm doing the True Brow. I did the True Brow education, and I'm involved with True Brow now, so that's the service that I'll be providing as I train myself up, because I do specialize in skin and remedial massage. But I really loved the brow restoration and the brow transformation. So, and I just love the way it can kind of transform someone, and it's a bit more of a lower cost, more frequent kind of service to be adding to my menu, and it kind of really complements skin, and it complements the relaxation massage that I do. So that's my thoughts. I really would love to start a discussion and a conversation in the comments below. Like I said, no hate. This is all from a place of love, and hopefully if you are kind of in business to start and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should add this high ticket service, hopefully this has given you a new perspective, and it makes you think, you know what, maybe I should be thinking about longevity for my client and how we can in the long term create a beautiful brow that she's really happy about, and yeah, make her feel amazing and transform her face, and really think about designing the brow for the face rather than just going, you know, the client wants this brow and then tattooing it on and then see you later, I won't see you for a while, or maybe not ever again. So that's my thoughts. And for all of you who might have missed the webinar that we held specifically for the Beauty Therapists of Australia Facebook group, I got Elle Wilson into the group. It was amazing. So we got Elle Wilson to, we did a conjoined webinar. My webcam wasn't working, so you can't see my face, but you can hear my voice, and I'll share the replay in here. But basically, because I did the True Brow course, I was so inspired. I wanted to share my experience doing the course, and I wanted to get her to really explain what True Brow is all about, because we had a lot of people kind of inquiring. So we held a webinar and we just shared everything, and we had a lot of people join, and I had no idea Elle was going to do this, but she offered a really amazing discount for her course. Like, yeah, it was amazing. And she's only offering it for a week, so we've only got about 5 days. You've only got about 5 days to take it up now. But I was blown away. I didn't expect that. I just wanted to get her on there to share what she does, because I thought, wow, this is so beautiful for the industry. You know, everyone needs to know about it. So yeah, if when I share the replay, definitely go watch. There's a code at the end, so you can get the discount if you like. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because I really didn't expect that. I just wanted to share that knowledge. So that's my thoughts on microblading. I am now converted into restoration of the brow and creating a beautiful, soft, feminine brow. So if you're thinking that way, let me know. If you're completely against me, let me know. I love these kinds of conversations. So let's connect, let's create a discussion, and we'll speak soon. Bye.